Good morning.
Jai Guru.
Welcome to this bright morning. Um, so, what we are going to do today is, as disciples, it is momentous. We are going to enter the ashram of our Param Guru with our Guru. And Yogananda ji said that Yukteswar ji was a strict disciplinarian. He forged his disciples in fire. Thankfully, our Guru uses the yielding method, which is the method of love. So, we are safe. And also, the double advantage here is that when we go through this chapter, we can simply watch our guru getting disciplined and hopefully learn something from that. And it is such a great joy to see that beautiful relationship unfold. Um, Simply no words, but we will certainly have to talk and use some words. So, before we go through that book together, chapter 12 is what we'll be referring to. But first, we'll do a small prayer and then we will chant Yukteswarji's name. Let's join our hands together with a straight spine, gaze uplifted, feeling our breath flowing in and out, either in the nose or in the spine, centering ourselves, bringing ourselves closer to the altar of God. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Friend beloved God,
Friend beloved God,
Great Masters,
Great Masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashay,
Lahiri Mahashay,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Swami Shri Yukteswar,
Beloved Gurudev,
Beloved Gurudev,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
Saints of all religions,
Saints of all religions,
we humbly bow to you all.
we humbly bow to you all.
Hey Gurudev,
Hey Gurudev,
transform us,
transform us,
give us the ability
give us the ability
to sit near you
to sit near you
and absorb your teachings.
and absorb your teachings.
Give us the power
Give us the power
to break the veil of Maya
to break the veil of Maya
and go beyond.
and go beyond.
O God,
O God,
may thy love
may thy love
shine forever
shine
at
forever
the sanctuary of our devotion,
on the sanctuary of our devotion,
and may we be able
and may we be able
to awaken thy love
to awaken thy love
in all hearts.
in all hearts.
Om.
Om.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Brahmananda केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वैवातीतं गगनसदृशं सत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यम् च सर्वधि साक्षीभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। Let's take this presence of the Guru into a very brief, just for a minute. If you have a Guru, seeing his eyes, seeing her eyes, magnetizing us, our brain, our spine. Now let's visualize Paramhansa Yogananda ji and Swami Shri Yukteswar ji. Let's now sing to our Param Guru, Swami Shri Yukteswar ji. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Shri Yukteswar Om, 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 Shri Yukteswar Om. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Shri Yukteswar Om, 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 Shri Yukteswar Om. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Shri Yukteswar Om, 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 Shri Yukteswar Om. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Shri Yukteswar Om, 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 Shri Yukteswar Om. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Shri Yukteswar Om, 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 Shri Yukteswar Om. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Shri Yukteswar Om, 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 Shri Yukteswar Om. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri. Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri, Shri Yukteswar Om, 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 Shri Yukteswar Om. Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Shri Yukteswara, 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 Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Shri Yukteswara, Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Swami Shri Yukteswara Giri, Shri Yukteswara, Swami Shri Yukteswara, Swami Shri Yukteswara, Swami Shri Yukteswara, Shri Yukteswara, Shri Yukteswara, Shri Yukteswara, Shri Yukteswara. For a few minutes, let's sit in this freedom, in this joy.
Yogananda ji said that the time to know God has come. The time to know God is now. So let us all through this affirmation establish immediate contact with God, and feel His presence inwardly. So please repeat after me loudly at first. This is an affirmation from the poem God, 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 the last stanza. In waking, eating, working,
In waking, eating, working,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
my soul will constantly hum,
my soul will constantly hum,
unheard by any.
unheard by any.
God, God, God.
God, God, God.
In waking, eating, working,
In waking, eating, working,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
my soul will constantly hum,
my soul will constantly hum,
unheard by any.
unheard by any.
God, God, God.
God, God, God.
In regular voice now. In waking, eating, working,
In waking, eating, working,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
my soul will constantly hum,
my soul will constantly hum,
unheard by any.
unheard by any.
God, God, God.
God, God, God.
In a whisper now, in waking, eating, sleep, working,
In waking, eating, working,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
dreaming, sleeping, serving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
meditating, chanting, divinely loving,
my soul will constantly hum,
my soul will constantly hum,
unheard by any.
unheard by any.
God, God, God.
God, God, God.
We will do this affirmation one last time, mentally without moving our lips or tongue, gazing at the point between the eyebrows, firmly planting this truth in our superconscious mind. Just repeat mentally only these words again. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, my soul will constantly hum, unheard by any. God, God, God. Home.
So this would be, so this is chapter 12. The name of the chapter is Years in My Master's Hermitage. Now, before we start the chapter, a little bit about what has happened before Master actually came here. He completed his high school around 1909, and he went to uh, the Hermitage in Banaras, and there he tried to meditate but was unsuccessful because they wanted him to serve more, meditate less. And finally, he found Yukteswarji standing miraculously in a lane there. And when he sees Yukteswarji, he says, "A few eager steps and I was at his feet. Gurudev, the divine face was none other than he of my thousand visions. These halcyon eyes in leonine head with pointed beard and flowing locks had oft peered through gloom of my nocturnal reveries, holding a promise I had not fully understood. "O my own, you have come to me." My Guru uttered the words again and again in Bengali, his voice tremulous with joy. "How many years I have waited for you." We entered a oneness of silence. Eloquence flowed in soundless chant from heart of master to disciple. With an antenna of irrefragable insight, I sensed that my Guru knew God and would lead me to Him. This was not the first son to find me at these holy feet. Great joy, and it was rediscovery. He was not finding his Guru for the first time. And as we'll see later on, he felt like he's reached home. But as Maya is, Teshwarji asks him to go back to his home, and Master Mukunda, who as he was called at that time, he didn't want to go home because he thought others will, family members especially, will ridicule him that the bird who was flying high has come back home. And he said, "No, Gurudev, I am not coming back." And he said that you will come back to me in 4 weeks. And for the first time, Sri Yukteswar's voice was stern. "Now I have told you my eternal affection and have shown my happiness at finding you. That is why you disregard my request. The next time we meet, you will have to reawaken my interest." Dangerous. Huh? "I won't accept you as a disciple easily. There must be complete surrender by obedience to my strict training." I remained obstinately silent. Okay. But then difficulties kept on increasing the following weeks at his Banaras Hermitage, and then he left that Hermitage. They went to Agra, had the sightseeing at Vrindavan, that miraculous sweet chapter, Two Penniless Boys in Vrindavan. And with that, now they are coming back to Calcutta. A throb of wonderment stole over me as I realized that 28 days had elapsed since the Banaras meeting with my Guru. "You will come to me in 4 weeks." Here I was, heart pounding, standing within his courtyard on quiet Raighat Lane. I entered for the first time the hermitage where I was to spend the best part of the next 10 years with India's Gyanavatar, incarnation of wisdom. Now we start chapter 12. "You have come." Shri Yukteswar greeted me from a tiger skin, tiger skin, on the floor of a balconied sitting room. His voice was cold, his manner unemotional. As we go through this chapter, we can quietly steal a look there to understand what's going on.
And this "you have come" is in sharp contrast to Yukteswarji welcoming him just in the previous chapter. "Oh my own, you have come to me." And here, "you have come." His voice was cold and his manner unemotional.
"Yes, dear master, I am here to follow you." Kneeling, I touched his feet. "How can that be? You ignore my wishes." "No longer, Guruji. Your wish shall be my law." "That is better. Now I can assume responsibility for your life." "I willingly transfer the burden, master." Now, this here, as it starts, is one of the greatest insights for a disciple. Many of us, because we've never, perhaps in this life, physically met Yoganandaji, many of us, sometimes feel that whether I'm fully accepted or not, right? That thought may pass. Um, Two things help give an answer to that. One is an internal presence, that inner presence and guidance that is always there. But the second is our part. Have We said to our Guru truly that your wish shall be my law. This is what Master would tell his disciples, that your prayer, your attitude has to be, you don't have to become subservient. You need to develop your own will, but it needs to attune to the Guru's will. And that is why he always asked his disciples to tell themselves that I will reason, I will act, but guide thou my reason, will, and activity to the right course in everything, which is the essence of discipleship. So here, finally, he is ready, he has surrendered, and now he is ready for training.
Now, this also reminds me, what is that one thing that God has given all of us? It's a free will, and even God or Krishna or any one of the self realized masters, they can't take that away from us. They can move the heaven and the earth and the rains and the sun and the universes, and they can affect or drive and change the course of law and effect, but they cannot influence our own free will. Which is why this one sentence here, when he completely surrenders, now I can assume full responsibility for your life. Now, for anyone who's gone through a purification ceremony, it is normally said in that ceremony that open your heart to me and I will enter and take charge of your life. And as Abhijit was saying, it does not mean that we give up our own free will. We are just attuning our will with that of the wisdom guided will of our Guru, and only then he'll be able to take charge of our life. And as we go through the chapter, you will see several instances of how Yukteswarji was able to implant some beliefs, some convictions into Yogananda's mind. And also Lahiri Mahasaya was able to do that with Sri Yukteswarji only because of that touch of light that master gives to the disciple and because of the complete surrender of the disciple to the Guru.
And for a Guru has a sacred duty given by God. So in that sense, Guru is even more eager to do the job and finish it successfully. The job of transforming the disciple, shedding out. It's not actually transformation, it is shedding off all the external layers so that finally our true self can shine. And that job is a momentous job. And unless we cooperate, that job cannot be done. Of course, there are times when Guru has to force himself on us. Just like Ramakrishna Paramans used to say that there are different types of doctors. One doctor will just give you the prescription and then you go away, and then you'll never bother what happened. If you took the medicine, great. Otherwise, fine. The other doctor will call up, follow up. If you're not taking, and say, please, you should take the medicine. The third doctor, the Uttam Koti, as he says, the doctor is the one who will, if he finds you're not taking the medicine, he will put his feet on your chest, open your mouth, and force the medicine down your throat. That's the best kind of doctor. So, gurus, because they know our inner self better than we, when to be strict and when to yield. Guru knows that, and that is why alternatively we will find that our Guru uses one of these three methods in our own lives, and we'll see here as well. My first request then is that you return home to your family. Okay, this was the cause of contention. Okay, the first thing that he asks is, okay, you do the same thing. I want you to enter college in Calcutta. Your education should be continued. Very well, sir. I hid my consternation. Would importunate books pursue me down the years? First father, now Shri Yukteswar. Now, master was never a scholar. He, his friends and his brothers tell us that he was extremely intelligent. He had very sharp memory, but he had zero interest in the academics, and that is why he always, though he passed, but he always barely passed, and he was more than eager to get rid of formal schooling, but that's not going to be so. Now, what is the reason why he should be studying? Someday you will go to the West. Its people will lend ears more receptive to India's ancient wisdom if the strange Hindu teacher has a university degree. Now, at that time, this is 1910, 1920, right? How many people would go to college? Even in America, even in US. And so very small percentage. And so if somebody who's come and who's English educated, and who has not just the intermediate but the full 4 year degree, a lot of intellectuals in America, in the West, would give that person a ear at least, some hearing, which will open their hearts to. And this is what the Guru is trying to do. You know best, Guruji. My gloom departed. The reference to the West I found puzzling, remote, but my opportunity to please Master by obedience was vitally immediate. Many of us would have had this feeling as children in our childhood when we've done some mischief, and after that mischief we've been caught, and now the parent has asked us to do something, we are doubly obedient. We want to quickly make things right. And this continues even now when we know that we've done some mischief, and then when you hear an inner guidance, you're like, okay, this time I will make sure I listen, and get back on the good side of the Guru, so to speak. You will be near in Calcutta. Come here whenever you find time. Every day, if possible, Master. Gratefully, I accept your authority in every detail of my life. Now, Yukteswar ji's ashram is 12 miles, which is 24 kilometers, I think, upriver from the Hooghly River from his house. So, every day coming would be, he'll have to take a train, have to maybe switch. It takes time. The college that he eventually joins, that was 15 minutes walking from his home. Okay, so 15 minutes walking versus a 24 kilometers of trip, but he hardly ever went to his college. All the time he was here at the Hermitage. And so he says, I accept your authority in every detail of my life on one condition. Okay, now our Guru is also smart, huh? Yes, that you promise to reveal God to me. This is my business with you, okay? I don't want your hermitage. I don't want your inheritance, as he says in the earlier chapter.
And I
I
give
want
you my free will so that you can help me find God.
everything but this one goal. And this also is very instructive for us, because many times, even in discipleship, we lose track of what is it that we are doing. What is it that we are here to achieve? It is not about the external things. Everything is designed, the service, the meditation, everything is designed so that at the end of the day we can go closer, one step at a time, as much as our limitations, self-imposed limitations, will allow us at that pace. But that goal needs to be kept in the mind in whatever we are doing. And our long verbal tussle ensued. Okay, now Yukteswar ji is Jnanavatar. He must have put forward, very compelling arguments why he can't give this assurance. But still, Mukunda was not the one to be dismayed. A master's word cannot be falsified. It is not lightly given. The implications in the pledge open out vast metaphysical vistas. A guru must be on intimate terms indeed with the Creator before he can obligate him to appear. I sensed Sri Yukteswar's divine unity and was determined as his disciple to press my advantage. Something for all of us to learn. Many times, most of us let our guru go easy. We don't demand this. Whether in meditation or in difficulties, okay, we've done some Om Guru, we've attuned a little, and life is going on. But this hunger, this urgency, this is what we need to learn. This is the hallmark of Yoganandaji's life. Since childhood, he displayed a tremendous amount of hunger, eagerness, energy towards his goal. And probably that was one of the reasons why he incarnated, because he didn't have to go through that sadhana that he did. It was an intense sadhana, intense, for years and years.
And when you grow up in a country like India, we've all grown up with coming across so many fake sadhus and gurus, right, who are eager to just have a following. And when I would read this book, because of that preconceived notion that we all have towards religion and towards these sadhus and saints, there is automatically this block that we develop towards even having a guru or the concept of a true guru. It's only when we read a book like this and when you go through a paragraph like this, here is a self realized master who is perhaps the only one who can give that divine experience of God to Yogananda ji. Yukteswarji knows that Yogananda has come to him for a divine mission, yet, before promising that he will give him the experience of God, he doesn't take it very lightly. And we've seen again and again that self realized master or a true guru will only do something when they are commissioned by Divine Mother to do so. When Swami Kriyananda had come to Yogananda the very first visit, we know that he got a special access and a direct access to Yogananda when others would wait for weeks or months to meet Yogananda. The first thing that Yogananda tells Swami Kriyananda is, I must tell you that I am meeting you because Divine Mother told me to do so. And we've seen this in the life of Christ again and again. Until he gets that sanction from his heavenly Father, he would not go about healing people. And then, of course, crucifixion is a different story altogether when the Heavenly Father did not intervene to save him from being crucified and he accepted that fate it is. But what we're trying to say here is a true Guru is the one who is only interested in helping the disciples to find God and not to increase a mass following. And I'm sure during this moment, Dukteshwarji, he is always one with God and Divine Mother, must have thought to himself or must be looking for that divine sanction before he could grant that promise to Mukunda. And then we see, due to the constant pressing of the disciple,
Yes, that urgency is what moves the divine. Like Anandamayi Ma used to say that people who are free masters, they don't have a will of their own. It's a universal will which acts through them. So she would say, "Khayal aata hai." Khayal is essentially feels, she's in tune, she feels something needs to happen, and it happens through her, and that's it. This promise could have come from Yukteswarji only after an urgent appeal, hungry call from the disciple triggered that universal response. This response did not come from a person sitting in front. If it were just a person, after 15 minutes, he may have said, ठीक है, बोल देते हैं ना अभी, एक घंटा क्या उसके साथ बहस करना, right? But it came from the universe itself. And the key is, you are of exacting disposition. Then Master's consent rang out with compassionate finality. Let your wish be my wish. Again, very important learning. He did not say, you will find God through me. The only thing that he promised him is, let your wish be my wish. So you need to wish for God. Again, free will. And then what happens? Lifelong shadow lifted from my heart. The vague search hither and yon was over. I had found eternal shelter in a true Guru. And that is why it is said that when you actually come to your Sadguru, your true Guru, then in many ways the search is over. It is now, the end is near, so to say. That's what Yogananji would say, that um, think that that long train of incarnations is probably coming to an end, and even more quickly if you stay in tune. So with this shadow lifted, with eternal shelter in a Sadguru, now Come, I will show you the hermitage. Master rose from his tiger mat. I glanced about me. My gaze fell with astonishment on a wall picture garlanded with a spray of jasmine. Lahiri Mahashay! Yes, my divine Guru. Sri Yukteswar's tone was reverently vibrant. Greater he was as man and yogi than any other teacher whose life came within the range of my investigations.
I love the choice of words here.
Greater he
Yukteswarji's
was
investigations.
as man and yogi than any other teacher whose life came within the range of my investigations. And he must have investigated, right? Now, again, just look at the larger picture. Mukunda born in a family of disciples of a great master, Lahiri Mahasaya. Both his father and mother were direct disciples. His father was an ideal yogi, householder yogi. He lived surrounded by disciples of Lahiri Mahasaya. So many we've seen, right? His Sanskrit tutor, Shastri Mahasaya, Swami Kebalananda, he was an exalted disciple, a rishi. Now, here, when he finds the Guru, and the coming of the Guru is heralded by divine voice, he does not ask him, "What's your lineage?" I have a soft corner for Laidi Mahashay. Are you by any chance? We are in Banaras and we are meeting. Are you by any chance related to Laidi Mahashay in some way? I have been practicing Kriya all my life. I get so much joy when I practice Kriya. Are you by any chance going to allow me to continue my practice of Kriya? Nothing. He didn't ask anything. He just knew, I found my Guru. That's it. Now I'm going to do what my Guru is going to ask me to do. And that's it. The Guru could have very well asked him to just do Gyan Yoga, sit and contemplate, or do more bhajan, more jap, anything, right? Who knew? But here, what it shows is that people who all their lives, when you live trusting in the divine, there is a, you allow that divine to also flow around you. The whole life gets molded, in almost magical way. It couldn't have been designed better. To have found his Guru, who is near his house, his father's prayer is also answered. He's not removed permanently. And he continues, remains in the lineage of Lahiri Mahasaya, who had blessed him in his infancy. If that was not the case, we would not have seen all these, Silently, I bowed before the familiar picture. Sole homage sped to the peerless master who, blessing my infancy, had guided my steps to this hour. Led by my Guru, I strolled over the house and its grounds. Large, ancient, and well built, the hermitage was surrounded by a massive pillared courtyard. We must have seen pictures of this house. Outer walls were moss covered even then. Pigeons fluttered over the flat grey roof, unceremoniously sharing the ashram quarters. A rear garden was pleasant with jackfruit, mango, and plantain trees. Balustraded balconies of upper rooms in the two-storied building faced the courtyard from three sides. So there's a big courtyard where we may have seen everybody gathering, and there is a balcony all around. A spacious ground floor hall with high ceiling supported by colonnades was used, Master said, chiefly during the annual festivities of Durga Puja. A narrow stairway led to Sri Yukteswar's sitting room, whose second balcony overlooked the street. From here, he would at times watch Mukunda coming over to the hermitage and greet him from there with a smile. The ashram was plainly furnished, everything was simple, clean, and utilitarian. Several Western style chairs, benches, and tables were in evidence. Master invited me to stay overnight. A supper of vegetable curry was served by two young disciples who were receiving Hermitage training. Now, here we get to know a little bit more about Yukteswarji's earthly life. Guruji, please tell me something of your life. I was squatting on a straw mat near his tiger skin. The friendly stars were very close, it seemed, beyond the balcony. I'm sure in today's Mumbai or Calcutta, you would not see so many stars. My family name was Priyanath Karar. I was born here in Serampur, where father was a wealthy businessman. He left me this ancestral mansion, now my hermitage. My formal schooling was little. I found it slow and shallow. In early manhood, I undertook the responsibilities of a householder and have one daughter, now married. My middle life was blessed with the guidance of Lahiri Mahashay. After my wife died, I joined the Swami order and received the new name of Shri Yukteswar Giri. Such are my simple annals. And like all biographical sketches, his words had given the outward facts without revealing the inner man.
If we just see how Yukteswarji has described his life, he is least interested in sharing the mundane aspects of his outward life. I went to a school which was slow and shallow. Early manlyhood, I got married. I had a daughter. She's married now. You can imagine for a self-realized master who is constantly one with divinity. Um, you are not identified with all of these aspects, right? Uh, Even if we think about ourselves, for some of us who've been on the spiritual path for many years, if you think about when somebody comes and asks you as to who you are and what you do, the way we tend to describe ourselves now vastly differs from how we would talk about our life maybe several years ago. Earlier, it would only be, oh, this is what I do, and my life is so tough, and I have children, and we have to make our ends meet, and so on and so forth. But even now, and we are just disciples. We are not anywhere close to, the self-realized master. But now, when somebody comes and asks us, we also do tend to talk about the fact that we are practicing Kriya Yoga, we are disciples of a great master. Our life is defined by perhaps going to satsangs on weekends, and these are all the steps which I am trying to take now to change my life. There are aspects of myself, such as anger, etc., which I'm working on now. And you're eager to share all of those aspects because you want to draw all your fellow Guru Bhais also to discover what you have discovered in the astral and the spiritual realms, and not so much on the earthly plane, which is so mundane. So you can see from this answer that he is just granting you Mukunda's wish to talk about his life, but there is absolutely no interest to identify or to associate with that.
Uh, Several years back, you had children.
Did I say that?
So, but we are interested in his life a little more than he is. So, he was born in 1855, I think May 1855. Father was, they were landed zamindars, and very early on, he learned from his mother that he needs to be independent, and he married, had one daughter, uh, who also got married, and then he was, of course, he was very intelligent. He kept on, he loved going on horse rides, and a very stately person, knowing multiple languages, and very fair, and getting income from his land. But then at some point he found Lahiri Mahasaya, his guru, which probably was somewhere around 1881 or 84. And at that point of time, he spent the last 11 or 14 years with his guru. And it is said that the first meeting was momentous. When he first came to Lahiri Mahasaya said, "Where were you? What were you doing till now?" And then Lahdi Mahasaya touched him, and he went into a high state. I have heard. And then he transformed his house into a hermitage. He became, after his wife's passing, he took on this new name from Priyanath Karar. He became Swami Shri Yukteswar Giri. Because his name was Priyanath, Lahdi Maharshi used to jokingly call him Priyanath because he was married. So he was Nath of Priya. And then when Yukteswarji,
Since you went.
and so when he took on the joined the Swami order, he converted his house into an ashram. The ashram was called Priyadham, after his name again. And then he started taking on disciples for training, from disciples as young as 6 to teenagers, and maybe a little older. And he sold all his land, everything. He invested in government bonds, and the regular income that he got, that income he used to sustain himself, because he did not want to be dependent on any disciple. Because the dependency on disciples is the downfall of many teachers, because then you start, a lot of things happen. He wanted to be independent, never looking to anybody for support, and this really helped him in that way.
Which is why he also later goes on to clearly say that saintliness is not dumbness.
Hmm.
Active expression of virtue gives rise to the keenest intelligence. So, the way he modeled his life is a great example of how he was adept and completely thorough in all the practical aspects of life as well.
And many people tried to take away his whatever lands he had. He filed lawsuits. He prevented, by all practical means, he prevented people from defrauding him, which is also something which, because we live practical lives, we need to be very mindful of. Learning from him that we need to live in this world with our both feet firmly on the ground. We may allow the head to be a little in the air, but the feet need to be firmly on the ground.
Would it be okay with you and Priya if we called you Priya Nath?
Guruji, I would like to hear some stories of your childhood. I will tell you a few, each one with a moral. Okay, so maybe we'll do the first story today.
Yeah.
Shri Yukteswar's eyes twinkled with his warning. Now, what's the warning? That there is a moral in each story. I mean, he will not even tell a casual story. It has to be meaningful. My mother once tried to frighten me with an appalling story of a ghost in a dark chamber. I went there immediately, you know, and expressed my disappointment at having missed the ghost. Mother never told me another horror tale. Moral: look fear in the face and it will cease to trouble you. This is a theme which Yogananda ji really uh, worked on throughout his life with his disciples. Fear. He would explain to his disciples that what's the root of fear? The root of fear is ego consciousness, which makes us feel limited, which then brings us into me and mine. And it also then makes us feel that if this is mine and that is not, then I may lose this. No, it can be possessions, it can be relationships, it can be the life itself, because we don't see ourselves as the eternal spark. If we are just this body and limited by, as the ego suggests, then we may lose it. And this causes fear. And this is what all fear revolves around: this fear of poverty, fear of losing riches, fear of a ghost. And Yogananda ji would tell his disciples that you need to hit the root of where this fear is, which is this delusion of the ego itself. And the first step of doing that is courage. Because delusion is smoke and mirrors. The best way of expelling delusion is looking at it with courage. Courage of what we might see. Similarly, anything that we fear in life, if we just examine it without getting afraid, it starts to crumble down because we realize that there was no basis behind it. And there is a higher power which is supporting me. And the fear was the reason because we were not seeing that higher power around. And this is what this simple example of Yukteswarji immediately running to that room. Courage. Immediately going and examining. What are you talking about? This is what we need to bring in our lives also. And the practices that we do, meditation, especially Kriya Yoga, it really helps in clearing out all hidden fears and worries, and it gives us the experience which then increases our courage and our assurance that we are anchored in the divine. And so fear starts to dissipate on its own, and then we also learn to look it squarely in the face.
Yeah.
So many teachings in just 2-3 pages with Yukteswarji. I think that's why he's called the Gyan Avatar. And
I also just want to add this one line: look fear in the face and it will cease to trouble you, is also the greatest teaching in how to face your karma.
huh,
Uh, Day after day, if we don't have the courage to face our karma, we know that we will keep coming back on earth incarnation after incarnation and be bound by this wheel and this cycle of life and death and life and death. Uh, and all those people and circumstances or situations that we are afraid of, we have to realize that they are all there as a part of our life because of some life force or action that we've done in the past. And with that understanding comes acceptance that we are drawing all of these things to ourselves. How do we react and respond to those situations now will determine what course of action on what we draw and what kind of fears we attract in future. So whether it is to do with health or people, I mean, think about this: how many times have we seen, at least I have seen, that at our work, if there is someone who we don't quite get along with, or even in our family, and we try to avoid situations where we have to work directly in close contact with them, invariably sooner or later, because we are constantly thinking about it and vrittis get created and there is an energy that goes out in that direction, even of fear, that person, such and such person, may go on to become my boss in future or a very close colleague, and there is absolutely no way I can avoid working with them, right? So what is the lesson which we are trying to learn from there? And if we don't face these lessons right now, can you imagine, you can park it on the shelf for some time if you don't have the courage to face it, but if you do that permanently, would you want to come back in your next lifetime and deal with that same kind of energy again? I mean, that anguishing monotony that Master speaks about. So, why don't we practice these teachings right now? It's very important that we practice a Kriya Yoga now. We practice the affirmations that our Guru has given us. Let us practice the affirmation on courage. Let us dissolve our ego, because if the ego does not remain, like Swami Kriyananda said, that there is nothing for me to protect anymore. And if there is nothing for us to protect anymore, or if your ambition is without any sense of attachment or power or ego, where is that fear coming from, or where will it come from? There is no point of reference. You just go about life doing your duties because you have to, and you take one step closer and closer and closer to God. So, and this is just one line. And if you introspect on it, as Yukteswarji has also said, one paragraph assimilated at a time for hours, you close and you meditate and you think about it, more and more layers of understanding will begin to descend on us. So,
so as we go through this chapter, it's a long chapter, but we would try to go slowly, not fast, because we want to do this assimilation. step by step. Um there's no point in rushing through. With this, I think
We'll do the arti. I'll do
let's
the
do the
chanting.
arti. And thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. We loved it. I'll chant. You do that.
Always better to mute ourselves sometimes.